Welcome, investigator. Evil is on the rise. Crime is escalating. Our mission is to eliminate the crime by exposing evil, examine why it manifests, and highlight the brave souls that confront it every day. Join us as we work together to bring justice to every victim. Welcome to All Things Crime. Here's your host, Jared Bradley.
That's where you came in, right, Olivia?
Yes. We discovered that Miss Fritz was cremated by the Anatomical Donations Program at the University of South Alabama back in 1979. So my job just kind of went right out the window. There's no body, there's no DNA.
So how'd you figure out the dental mold?
JT had found an old dental mold that had been shoved in her mouth, even though she had no teeth. So we have no idea why they took the dental mold in the first place, but we found that in storage, and I did not know what to do with it whatsoever. I believe that it had previously failed swabbing tests, but we could never get anything from it. I figured any testing that we would do would be a long shot, and I thought it would fail.
Well, you have little faith.
I did. Okay.
Come on now.
This dental mold was in storage for 50 years. It was covered in rat droppings, and they didn't wear gloves back then in 1976 when they would have taken it. So I figured it would have been contaminated by whatever CSI or autopsy tech put this in her mouth. I figured it would be full of male DNA and we wouldn't have gotten anything.
Well, but you figured out that may as well take a shot at it, right?
I figured we might as well take a shot. It was our last shot because you can only M-Vac something once, from my understanding. And I asked Danny, I said, would you swab this? What can I do with this to get any sort of DNA? And he kind of got back to me within a few days, and he was like, you should M-Vac this. We should M-Vac this. And I said, okay, let's try it. It's our last shot. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and that's it. So I put a lot of pressure on him, I guess, but he got it.
Well, personally, that's music to my ears, right, Danny? And
yeah,
let's M-Vac this thing.
Goes to show you the right tool for the job.
So you sent the dental mold to Danny, and Danny, what happened from there?
Well, Olivia and I talk through cases often, and so it's my job to look through evidence, see, and most times it's pretty iffy on what we can find, what we can work with. And she brought up this case. We started talking through it, and the first comment was, "Yeah, we don't have a body. What is that about? How is that even possible?" So I was feeling pretty uncomfortable with the fact that we were going to get anywhere with this. How do you identify a deceased individual without the actual body to identify? But yeah, it made sense. Oral area is very rich in DNA. The conditions of storage weren't the greatest, but we leave no stone unturned, right? So you go out and find the best bet, use the best tool available, and see what you can do. It made sense to use M-Vac. That's not necessarily the most conducive to swabbing, and God, we got to max out what biological material we can get off of this. So we talked through it, and I'll be honest, I was a bit, I don't get your hopes up, but we'll see what we can do. And we got it in-house. We did work the M-Vac, got decent return on material off of the object itself, and sort of crossed our fingers, did DNA extraction, quantification, and just sort of prayed that things turned out okay. And I'll be honest, again, when we got the results back and saw there was a decent amount of DNA there, a pretty solid amount of DNA, honestly, I was pretty impressed. I was pretty impressed and a bit shocked. I think that conversation that we had, Olivia, there was a pretty unique one. And here you go. We can do this. This is going to work.
Yeah, he called me when he got the results, and Danny never calls me. So I thought something was up. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And he said, this dental mold got 145 nanograms, and it's not badly degraded. And I swear, I was in a state of shock. I was in a meeting and I still answered because he never calls me. And I think I called JT right away and I was like, you'll never guess what just happened.
So before we get into your reaction too far, Danny, explain how you would use the M-Vac on a dental mold, because frankly, I've seen a lot of stuff sampled. I've never seen a dental mold. How did you do it?
Well, initially the idea was we just need to maximize the amount of DNA off of this. And I mean, that screams M-Vac. You use the right tool in the toolbox. And in this case, I mean, swabbing didn't look conducive. There's rough surfaces. It just didn't physically work that great. So we brought it back, and I would say it was a interesting technique to try and make it work, but you really just had to get some material down and hit those cracks and crevices and pull it back up. You can kind of get a little bit of an indication how well it works when you see the filter that it goes on, and shockingly, I mean, it looked pretty solid. The shock that we got when we saw how much DNA came out of it, that was a bit bigger than expected, but physically it took a little doing, but it seemed to work.
So the sampling did it actually fit down into the mold very well, or just kind of have to hose it down and then vacuum it up later?
We tracked over the surface as much as we could. So yeah, I mean, it fit in, work into the places that where you can, and just pull out material where you can. It worked. I mean, I wouldn't say it was the perfect object and shape, but you make it work.
Yeah, no, I'd put it right in that category of rocks and bricks and other crazy porous items that I've seen get profiles from. But it's not gonna. For those of you that are listening, imagine the sampling head of the M-Vac is about an inch, a little less than an inch and a half wide, and so you can imagine that it's not going to fit down into a dental mold very well. They don't even use those things anymore, do they? Maybe like a mouth guard for football or something. Anyway, it's not going to fit in there very well. But you put a tool like that in the hands of people that really know what they're doing, like Danny here, and they can work miracles. So let's go back to the phone call. And I agree, Danny doesn't call unless there's something major going on. He's not very communicative that way, but. No, I get text messages from him on occasion, and it's just like, dude, you wouldn't believe what happened. So I love getting his text, that's for sure. So, Olivia, you got that text. You were in a meeting or a call.
Yeah, I was.
The call's even more dramatic.
I was in a meeting with the sheriff, actually, and I still answered. And he was like, I got 145 nanograms from your dental mold, and it's not that bad. And I think it was shocking because I was so sure this was not going to work. But then I got really excited, obviously, because this was going to be our chance to identify this lady. This is it.
So what did the sheriff say?
Oh, God. He was just like, all right, go ahead and do your thing. He wasn't too excited. I'm not even going to lie. He didn't even know what case I was talking about. Okay. We have a lot of cold cases.
Yeah, well, I imagine Danny can help out with those, right, Danny?
Always.
Thanks for joining us. Your attention today brings us one step closer to exposing and eliminating the evil that brings crime to our communities. Hit subscribe and share this episode. Together, we will bring justice to every victim.